Hello up there. It's Brad J. Lamb. You too can become a condo millionaire. The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.
How you doing, handsome?
I'm doing just fine.
You look fine. You're getting the scruff going, man. It's you're not shaving it.
You know, I'm going to shave tomorrow, I think.
Big business meeting, or do you care about that stuff?
No, I don't care about that.
No, okay.
I just realized where I recognize him from. Those posters. I do. I didn't recognize your body, but I recognize your face.
Yeah. Frank Spadone, Brad Lang.
How you doing, man? That's awesome.
The power. How much is a billboard? A lot of money. I don't even. How much would a billboard cost?
Well, they've gone up, and they're harder to get.
Huh.
So you can get billboards spread around the GTA, but they're hard to get in a concentrated area. So we have a special contract with CBS, or I think it's CBS or MediaCom, whoever runs it now. And we have 8 or 9 billboards in the downtown area. And it costs probably a couple $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, not a month. I think
a year.
We do it. No, it's not a year. We do it for we do it January, late January till late July, so about 6 months.
Couple $100,000. And is it still like an effective way of advertising? I mean, you must hear that a lot. You know, people see.
I think advertising is a complete fucking waste of money.
You do? Okay. Thanks for signing a year deal. Okay.
I was going to say, I wanted to split one with you, Todd, but hey, you know what? Forget it.
Yeah, because I got $100,000 lying around, Frank.
No, seriously, you know, the thing about advertising is it's actually, and ad agencies will tell you this, the opposite of this, but it's actually very hard to determine where your customers come from.
Yeah.
It is, because they're not honest about where they come from.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, you know, I'll be honest. I always say, and I think one of the first conversations we ever had here, it's about loyalty. I think these days, like people are. That's why I'm not like Brad is clearly here because he's a wonderful sponsor of this program, and it's great, and we have fun, and he's our dragon, and we learn, and we educate, and we get educated, and we learn about real estate amongst other things. But you know, loyal audiences don't mind supporting that because advertising, what it can't do is, I think it can't fool you anymore, but it can be more genuine, and I believe in. Am I a good sales guy?
I mean, I think that so first of all, you can't grow your business on you can't grow your business on what you alluded to, right? You need to, in order to grow your business, you need to meet new people and expand, right? So it can't just be about dealing with your existing customers. I mean, grow slowly with that, but referrals perhaps. But you need to reach out to new people. What I'm saying is that it's very, very difficult today to reach out to new people. It's so advertising is so fragmented. It's very hard to know what works, right? Like I think the internet doesn't work. Actually, advertising the internet I think is a big fucking waste of money, but everyone does it because they're afraid if they don't, they're missing something. But truly, I don't know many companies outside of pornography, book sales, you know, things you can buy without seeing. There's not a lot of commerce done on the internet.
Do you agree with sort of reach and frequency, though, where you know, you need the big reach and you need continued, like, you know, the Cokes, the McDonald's, like they still continue to advertise it. Could they just wipe out that budget and be just as successful?
I question it. Like Phil Knight, who runs Nike, who founded Nike, has said on many occasions he thinks advertising is a complete waste of money and doesn't work. And he says he's never found one individual in the advertising agency that he deals with, or the advertising agencies he deals with, that have ever been able to prove to him without a doubt that it works.
Wow.
So,
that's funny.
Yeah, but he's a huge advertiser.
But I think it gives a sense of credibility. Like when you see big names and big logos everywhere, I think you say, "Oh yeah, that." Like just like how I recognize you now from the actual advertising, which is ironic.
But, are you gonna go buy a property from me now?
Well, you know, I might. But you know, I know my wife's friends. My wife's. Do you have
there
some
you
projects
go.
going
you
on?
hear that?
His
wife is a friend who's a real estate agent.
No, but you know what? But I think a lot of well, especially with that. Well, no, because then they disown you. You know, family. When you got real estate agents and family, you're almost obligated, even though you don't want to. But anyway, but I think it does help. I'm not chewing. Listen, I think it does help though, and I would probably share. What projects do you have going on? Yeah. I want to hear about it. I got some money to spend. Not on a billboard because it's a waste of time apparently.
We have projects all over Toronto, mostly downtown.
Mostly downtown.
Yeah, in the sort of the south of really south of Dundas is sort of where I'm interested in doing work.
New developments, is that what you're? Yeah.
Well, we're a brokerage, so we can sell you a nice home.
Nice.
But I also develop.
That's great.
Yeah.
But but the market's crazy right now.
It is.
It has it.
So no, that's a good because this is what you do. So this is what you hear. The market's crazy.
Yeah.
What does that mean to Frank? And then what could Brad sort of tell us what that actually means?
What does it mean to Frank? I wouldn't normally want to sell my house right now, but I'm so intrigued. Like, I'm teased. I want to see how much money I can make off my house because the markets just keep going up and up, and I'm kind of kicking myself. I had a chance to buy a new development a couple years ago, and it would have been ready now. And by the time I would have bought, like what it was worth then, the new development, and what my house is worth, I probably would have pocketed some money right now. So real estate is so interesting to everybody.
What do you do for a living, by the way?
I do stand-up comedy.
You're a comedian. I thought so.
I do stand-up comedy.
This is comedy hour.
But I do stand-up. But between myself and my wife, we've done, and we always talk about real estate. Like, I think real estate is my father-in-law calls it black gold. Basically.
So I was just out west because we're developing a bunch of stuff in Calgary and Edmonton, and I was talking to my finance guy that he sort of engineers the money I need to do things out there, and he's telling me a story about the guys that own the Canucks. Mm-hmm. I forget their name.
Some Italian dudes, I think.
Yeah, and they started off in the trades, right? So I forget what trade it was, drywall or taping or fucking brick, or I don't remember what. but that's where they started. And also the 4 or 5 other big Italian high-rise families in Vancouver, they're all billionaire families, all started off in the trades. And what they did was they made a bit of money, then they bought some real estate. They made a bit of money, and they bought some real estate. And they took all their excess money, and they bought real estate. And then they woke up 30 years later, and not a word of a lie, they're billionaires. They have vast holdings of real estate, and they didn't think about it. It was like, I wonder if this is overpriced or if it's going to go down tomorrow. They just fucking bought it.
Yeah.
Didn't worry about it because they knew they had a long-term plan. And if you look at anyone who's wealthy in real estate, that's how they did it. They took their lawyers. Lots of lawyers in this city are very, very wealthy. From like the guys I'm buying land from now. 75, 80-year-old Jewish guys, they're lawyers, or they were in the schmata business, or they were in the fucking, discount food business, or something. Maybe they were doctors, right? And they took all of their excess money and they bought real estate. And now it doesn't matter what they did for a living. It's irrelevant. They're worth 50, 100, 200, $1 billion. And that's how they do it. And the problem is that, just like you said, you kick yourself in the pants. The people that don't kick themselves in the pants and do it are the ones that end up being filthy rich.
Yeah.
And then everyone resents them for it and thinks somehow they got an easy ride, and that those people owe something to the people that need a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
You need a kick in the pants.
That's right.
That's what you need.
It's so scary though. Like, we look at, we're always looking at properties and stuff, and maybe we should do this and that, and there's always a bit of nervousness to it. Like, what if it goes the other way? But anytime I look at the market, just like what happened in the States, it went down for a bit, but man, it jumped right back up. And I think you're right. It's the long haul you got to look at. You can't, I mean, some people have jumped in and made $100,000 in a year, but I mean, it's got to be a rare thing right now. Does that Vancouver foreign tax have anything to do with what's
Brad
happening?
hates us. Don't get him started.
Here we go. We're going to talk about this, but I just want to tell you that it doesn't matter when you buy real estate. Like my father in the 60s was buying houses in BC for, under $10,000 for a home in the early 60s. Those houses are worth millions of dollars today.
I believe
my dad was making, $5 or $6 grand a year as a pilot in early 1960s, and a house was maybe 10 or 15 grand.
Wow.
He could have bought 5 houses.
Yeah.
He didn't because he needs a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
That's
your new slogan.
Well, you gave it to me. Thank you. No, but it's
well, you start, that's what you do in your seminars, Brad, is you'll tell people about being a condo millionaire, and where you can go and invest. You can go to torontocondos.com, and over time you will that will be where you'll make your money. And, I'm fortunate where I had a bit of a savings through flipping a couple of condos that I just lived in and buying new ones and flipping them and, still enjoying them while I was there and banging a lot in there.
Don't let Revenue Canada hear you say flipping. You weren't flipping.
I wasn't flipping.
You lived in them and you sold them as principal residences legally and fairly.
100%. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I got to be careful of the terms.
Yeah.
No, I lived in them for like 3-4 years at a time. It was like over a 12-year. It was, watching the city develop. I kicked myself in the fucking pants going, shit, if I took that little bit of excess money and instead of carrying to drive a Porsche at the time or, having a nice dinner that night, like I should have put it into way more properties. And I can't believe I didn't, because then I wouldn't have to be working right now.
But you also probably wouldn't have got as much pussy as you did. You put a value on that. I know you do.
I did all right with that.
It was the quality. It was the quality of living you were having.
You going to any Blue Jay games?
I'm actually going on Saturday.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And are you following? Are you nervous? I mean, I know they finally looked like they turned their bats around last night, but
yeah. I think they're going to make the wild card. I don't think they're going to catch Boston. But I think it's very exciting. It's very exciting for the city to have the Blue Jays again, not sucking.
Yeah.
And it puts so much money into the economy, which I don't know if people appreciate that, but it's always a great thing to have, the restaurants and the bars full when they otherwise wouldn't be, and it puts money into people's pockets that wouldn't otherwise get it, and it's super positive for the city. It's great for our confidence as a city. People do measure their city confidence by their sports success.
Isn't that interesting?
It's weird, but it's true.
If they win more, maybe people kick themselves more in the ass, and then we're more confident. We're buying more properties.
We're all going to win.
One can only hope.
I guess you look at sort of Vancouver where they lost a basketball team, and is Toronto? Do you think the only team that can support anything other than I guess the two ones that we all do, which is soccer and hockey? Like, do you think Toronto's the only one that could support the NBA, MLB, maybe even NFL one day?
Well, you need it's a very, very easy calculation that the sports leagues measure a city by, and it's about disposable income, and they want to know how much of your disposable income goes towards entertainment, and how many people can actually attend sports and concerts and dinners and everything else. And they determine based on that whether a city can have a sports franchise. It's an actual calculation. So you have to be a large city or a wealthy city. But I mean, you look at some cities in the United States, like Cincinnati is a shit city, right? They have two big teams. Pittsburgh is not such a shit city. It's actually, it's
not as shit.
No, it was a shit city when it was sliding into ruin in the 70s, and it came out with some strong political leadership and business leaders, and now it's actually a relatively wealthy, and it's quite a pretty city, but it's small, and they have 3 sports teams.
Speaking of disposable income, what about disposable time? I laugh because the iPhone 7 was released, and people are waiting 5.5 hours to go and get a phone. Who in their right mind, Brad Lamb, has 5.5 hours to wait and then go and spend money? Do you think this is ridiculous?
I think you can envision in your mind who those people are. I mean, you know what's the funny thing is, I dropped my iPhone 6. I went out one night like 10 days ago, and I got drunk, and I got home and I put my phone on my bedside table, and it fell on the ground. It crashed. I'm like, fuck, I'll see in the morning what it looks like. The screen was cracked. So I call up, my office manager. I'm like, you got to get my phone fixed. So he goes to some guy in Chinatown that fixes these things in like 40 minutes for very little money, like the screens. And then it comes back and the screen's blue. And I can't make phone calls. It's acting really weird. And I'm getting when I call the office and ask for someone, I get the secretary's voice reverberating the guy's name. So the phone is screwed. So I have him go back that day, and he goes, oh, it's the launch of the iPhone 7S today, and there's like a 4-hour wait to see someone for servicing your phone. So I'm like, dude, I'm not, or you can wait to buy one. I'm like, forget it. That's time that we can't get back. So he went back on Monday and got me the iPhone 6S.
The 6S, okay.
And it's plenty of phone.
It's plenty of phone.
God. I think the 7 is waterproof.
Sort of ish, I think they're calling it, right, Frank?
I think that's what. No, because it just reminds me of my kid who dumped his iPad into the toilet because he had to watch videos while he was taking a piss.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Is it ish?
Well, I mean, I've heard it's like, they haven't really said how deep it can go and stuff. From what I'm, Bilal, you might know better. But
then what about the plugins?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't
well, they took the headphone jack out, so there's no. That's what everyone's losing their mind at. That there's no headphone jack. And to be honest, I'm a Bluetooth guy. Yeah. I'm a Bluetooth. Like I've always been talked to my phone because I find I can get chores done that way. If I don't know if you do chores, Brad, but
no, I do not do chores.
I'll clean the house.
I get up and walk into the shower. That's a chore.
That's a good chore.
Like wash, that's a chore.
The only difference, I don't shower. Okay. Would you mind the not having a headphone jack? Would that bother you?
I never walk around with fucking headphones, man. That is, I don't get it.
Okay.
Walking around, first of all, I'm never just wandering the streets listening to music. In my car, I listen to music. At home, I'm either reading, watching TV, eating, or talking to somebody. I'd like listening to fucking music all day long. What are you listening to? Maybe podcasts. If you're educating yourself, that might be interesting. But listening to music all day long, it's all the time with headphones in their ears.
What about on the phone, like the Bluetooth sort of microphone?
No, I never use that. That annoys me. When I see people walking down the street with that little thing, the little Bluetooth thing, like, really?
That was so Janet Jackson in the 90s.
You're a very important person. Walking, with your Starbucks coffee at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, walking down the street in flip-flops. You're very, very important, and you need that Bluetooth.
But if I had Brad J. Lamb money, I might just do that. Like, I wouldn't work that day.
You probably do now.
I'm too busy.
You have the Bluetooth. Come on, you walk around.
I only do it for phone calls because I can hold my kid or do chores. That's one. I never listen to, like, I couldn't tell you anything about music other than the stuff we play on the show now. Yeah. Like, I just don't have the time. I literally don't have the time for it, let alone waiting in line to buy a phone. I wish I had time to waste like that. I really do. That dreaded tax out in Vancouver and BC.
Yeah.
That's right now kind of helping investments within Toronto because people are buying.
It's not fucking.
It isn't.
It's not. Is that?
Nah, it's bullshit.
Listen, it is bullshit.
Well, listen. There's no one's going to be dreaming of buying an investment in Vancouver. Going, oops, I'm going to do it in Toronto instead. So maybe they were looking at both cities and now they're looking at Toronto. People think that our prices are going up in Toronto because of that. That's bullshit. There's nothing for sale here. It's nothing to do with the tiny amount of Chinese people. Listen, we put a house up for sale in the park in the High Park area the other day. 120 people came through open houses.
Jesus.
Not one foreign Chinese person. Not one.
Just people want a home.
People. It's all white people and Chinese people who've been here forever, and black people and Indian people. There was no like hordes of Chinese investors trying to take over High Park. This is bullshit.
You sure it's not their representatives?
No, it's not.
No. And they're not. Are they talking about bringing this tax here now? Is that one of the things that's
what's
been
getting me a little concerned, and because I just don't have any faith in government at all in managing anything.
I fear you when you get concerned. By the way,
I'm very concerned because I'll tell you. In Toronto, this is a non-factor. Chinese buyers of resale property are non-factor except in Brampton, Richmond Hill, maybe Newmarket, and what's the other neighborhood up there? Markham. Okay, where there's a large
not in
population.
Keswick.
No, not in Rosedale or Forest Hill or Lawrence Park or the Beach or any other neighborhood or Roncy Village. No, that's not where they live. And so this is hysteria for no reason. This is what Chinese people are doing in Toronto. They're buying condominiums from floor plans in large numbers. Some are from China and not from here. Some are locals here. Some are backed by foreigners and giving them the money to buy. Okay? That's happening. But if this was not happening, these buildings wouldn't get built. He's not buying them. You're not buying them. He's not buying them. And he's not buying them.
He's pointing to the whole crew here.
Nobody's buying them. There's no.
Collectively
Listen,
broke.
Ryan, the guy that runs my company, went into the last launch at Sherbourne and Wellesley. Okay? 500 Asian people and Ryan. Only white guy in the place, Ryan. And by the way, every single person in the city can get there if they want. Just to call the number and go, I want to be there in the launch, they can go. They're not going. It's Chinese people, it's Iranian people, it's Indians and Pakistanis that are building these buildings for us. They're financing them. And that's why we have all these hotels. All those condos sold above the hotels to get the hotels built, they're buying them. And then they rent them to local people that aren't buying them. That's a fantastic thing. And to tax those people, this was going to happen. We've put a 15% tax in Toronto. We have a national recession in our hands. The worst we've ever seen.
So
the worst we've ever seen.
Wow, that's scary. I mean, when you say that, that. So how can you get there to government and say, don't do this, dope heads?
Well, nobody listens to me.
No. Why is that?
I don't know.
I listen to you.
What good is that going to do us in this room?
They've got their Bluetooth things on. They can't hear them. Exactly. It's weird.
Well, Brad, I love when you come. I never actually got to thank you. The Oomph Lounge was a massive success. Brad provided the 45th floor of the Theatre Park building, and I can tell you, man, as an architecture buff, and I actually took art history and then sort of was planning to do something architecturally within school until I realized that Carleton really only reinforces drinking because they have the most pubs per capita of any single university. So I had to drop out and then go to York the next year. And I think I made up an excuse that there was anti-Semitism just to get in. My marks were so bad, but they were leaving pennies under my pillow. I just saw that School Ties movie. I love architecture. I love buildings. And I love views, and wow, that Theatre Park building, man. That thing, you see it because it's one of the biggest buildings within that area, downtown Toronto. And I know we talk here, SiriusXM to everyone, but Toronto is the fucking hub, and I'll always support that and back that up. And these are one of the buildings why it's the hub. It is absolutely beautiful. That view, that is. It's like I'm speechless. Like, it's so rare to have something of that sort of magnitude. And I guess the neat part is with some of the units they're not all like that one was 2,500 square feet, but there's some that are that high that are like very affordable units. Can you put a price on a view is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, people do all the time. I mean, people want they want a guaranteed view, and they're very hard to get. And actually, Theatre Park is a virtually guaranteed view. There's really nothing that's going to be closely built to you to ruin your view, and especially to the south because you're over Roy Thompson Hall. That south view is there for the end of time, and it's. I mean, when I live in the same unit that you had your
the Oomph Lounge.
Oomph Lounge.
Yeah,
I had my own Oomph Lounge up.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And sometimes when I wake up in the morning and I look out the window, I have the bedroom has two windows facing west and facing south, and you can see airplanes taking off and boats, coming and going, and it's got the most magical sunset. We took a picture of that. Oh. We did. And it really is a fantastic view, and I don't think people appreciate how great the views are from up there until you get there.
I couldn't get I literally couldn't get enough of it. And then the other thing that blew my mind, Brad, that absolutely blew my mind. Frank Spadone co-hosting the show today. Thank you, man.
Not a problem.
When you're that high and you're looking down at Toronto, okay, and you're literally you're looking at all the bank, all the institutions, all their big towers. You're looking at the Rogers Centre. You're looking at the ACC. You're looking at basically, and then if you look to the north, you look at the neighborhoods and the communities. You're looking, what's fucked up is if you think about like a hard drive of an operating system or something, you're looking at everything that makes it work. Mm-hmm. You're looking at billions and billions of dollars, yet it's very peaceful. Like it was a really, it was really a very heartwarming feeling for me. I mean, I don't know, can I buy it off you for half the price? It's all I can afford. No. Not a chance.
Absolutely not.
Well, people got to go and check it out. Brad, thank you for your time. It's amazing how quickly it flies. I mean, we can hang out. Is there anything else? What else is on your mind? We've got a few minutes here, actually.
What else is on my mind? I don't know. What else did we...
I don't know. There are other notes here, but I just want to talk to you.
But can I get the address of this new... I want to come check it out. My wife makes the decisions, though. I just want to tell you right now.
Did we leave it okay? Did we leave it? Of course she did. Have you been there? Did we leave it okay? Did I leave it okay?
I haven't been, but I sent Ryan over. He said it looks great.
He's okay, good. Yeah.
So you guys were together during that sunset? I was just visualizing.
No. I actually never visited the Oomph Lounge. I meant to, but I just... I'm busy. Like my kid, single father, 2.5 days a week, and that is all encompassing. So I just don't have a lot of time to do stuff like that.
Yeah, go 3 floors up. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you know what? That's how weird it is. Though one of my best friend lives like 3 floors down, and I fucking never go to his place. We meet at the pub on the corner. I don't know.
Hilarious.
It's weird.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Anyway, where it is it's right next to the Royal Alex Theatre.
Okay, beautiful.
It's that tall, thin tower with the white bondage around it.
It's ridiculous. Hey, Brad Pitt and Angelina broke up.
Yeah.
You're a divorced guy, obviously. Yeah. A single, great parent to your lovely daughter. Is there hope for marriages in the future with the way the world is nowadays, with the accessibility of dating and Frank's 10 years in,
yeah,
and I'm a year and a half in, and I know I wasn't going to be sure if I was going to say this joke on air, but I haven't had sex with my wife in like a few weeks, and I hate, like, it's only because we're busy, not because we don't want to. And I showered the other day, and her towel was like still there, like there's only one towel on the rack for some reason. Okay. I felt like that was I kind of got a scent of her vagina smell from the towel, and I'm like, this isn't how it should be.
She's going to be thrilled with you saying that on the radio.
No, in a good way. Like
rewind,
I'm like, no, I'm like, that's like, I feel close. Like,
do you feel? But it's nice to know that her scent still turns you on.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like that's the main thing.
You know what? I was married. I was with my wife for 14 years.
Yeah.
I wasn't married, but we were together.
Okay.
Fantastic woman, like amazing woman. And I think that in the end we could have made it work if we communicated better on both our sides. Probably worse on my end, but I think both of us, if we had just sat down and said, okay, we're drifting apart. Why are we drifting apart? Let's talk about it. Instead of you getting stubborn or hurt feelings, or doing something else, right? And so I think there is hope. I think there is hope for marriages. I really think there is. I think that people can live. I mean, obviously there's temptation, right? There is, and people make mistakes. But I do think that marriage is something, or cohabitating is something that can work for a long, long time.
Would they ever build condominiums? I'm actually being serious when I say this, Brad. I can't believe I've actually never asked you about this before. Where they're like split condominiums, but with like a common kind of room, almost like a hotel would be with that dividing door. But there's one main, more common room where like the dude can kind of have like a full area, and the lady could have like her area, and then there's an area for the, like, because I find the living space is so interesting within a marriage where you really do want your certain areas and you can decorate it the own way you want. So it's kind of like based on a I think that might help. Is that a dumb idea?
Well, see, now that apartment would be about the size of the apartment you were doing your oomph lounge in. That's a $2.5 million apartment. So yes, those apartments exist. You each have your own bedroom, your own closet, your own bathroom.
You just got to be rich to be able to make it work.
That's what my basement's for. That's why I fixed the basement.
Yeah, or have a
man cave,
like a house, like a 2 or 2,500 square foot house. You don't have to be rich. I mean, rich-ish, but not really rich. $1.5 million will get you a great house in Toronto, and that'll give you enough room to get away from each other for a while.
Yeah, and I think that's you got to get away. I think that's the key to a happy marriage is comfortably get away once in a while. Like be comfortable to take that little bit of space.
100%. Go out with your friends. She goes out with her friends.
How do I escape when the in-laws come over? That's what I want to know.
That's the funny thing, because I was talking to someone else about that the other day, and it's like. There's no middle ground. So if you like, it's either all in-laws all the time or never.
Yeah.
Because I came from a family. We're like the most munja cake you'd be. We're super Anglican Protestant people, and really we're not religious at all. I'm not religious, and I never, like, my cousins were Western Canada, but we never saw them. We never saw anyone related to us for years and years and years. And that's often the way it is with Anglicans, and
that's why you get along so well.
And then I married a Catholic girl, and every Sunday, and it's like, really, again, every Sunday?
Was she Italian?
No, she was half Jamaican, half Scottish.
Oh, okay.
And every Sunday, pretty well, she'll say it wasn't every Sunday, but it always felt to me like every Sunday, which was great because they're great people. But sometimes I wanted to lie on the couch and watch football and not have to, communicate.
It's a lot of pressure.
At all.
I just ended up I just piss everyone off in my family. No one wants to see me. So we all win. I think that's the way to do it. Brad Lamb, thank you for hanging out with us. TorontoCondos.com with developments all across Canada. Beautiful one in Calgary I was following on the Twitter feed. And you got to check out the Theatre Park building. If you haven't seen the Oomph Lounge pictures, just type in #Oomph and you'll see the beautiful sunsets, the views, and how we actually destroyed the place. But we got people to come in and fix it up pretty quickly. No, I'm joking. No, we were so good.
How do you spell oomph? What would that be?
OOMPH. It means energy and sexual desire, which is what that condo brought out in us. Nice. Thank you to Brad Lamb, Brad J. Lamb Realty. Follow him on Twitter too, and learn a ton about what he's doing. And look for his seminars, and you can be a condo millionaire. Don't forget about that. Live in a Lamb standard. Back in a moment.
The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168. The Todd Shapiro Show.
All right, we really appreciate you watching that video. Make sure you check out some more videos. Why not? Let's get caught in the Shapiro Show vortex right here. Or you can subscribe to the channel right here and check out videos at any point, because we're going to give you all the alerts. We do appreciate you being a part of our family. Most families hate each other. Not ours. We love you.